Good morning everybody, happy Monday. Welcome to the Successful Showgirl. My name is Kitty and today we're talking about fee setting and finances, because last week I asked a question in the group about things that people needed the most help with, and top of the list was setting your fees and applying for jobs. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about how to set your fees, but also all the things that come with that, because it isn't as simple as just saying you need to charge this much money. That's just not really how it works, because we all do different jobs, we all do different things, we all live in different places, so it's going to be very different for different people. But you need to work out how your fees are going to work for you. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a sec. But first, I really want you to have a think. Happy Monday, morning everyone. I really want you to have a little think about where you're at within your performing career. So this morning I was going through the group and we had some comments on different posts, and one of them was basically saying that it wasn't financially viable to do burlesque full time for that particular person. And I just wanted to question that and say, is that a true fact or is that a limiting belief? So there'll be some people in this group that work as performers professionally and that is their only job. There'll be some people in this group that have only just started out and are working for not very much money, okay? So we're all at different levels. If you're working for not very much money, does that mean that becoming a professional performer isn't financially viable for you? Or does that mean that you're at the beginning of opening a business, because essentially that's what this is, and most businesses require time to learn the skills to become a successful business. So I just want you to have a little think about where you're at in your performing, but also I want you to think how far you could go with it, because if somebody else in this group is doing something, then there is absolutely no reason that you can't do it as well. It's just the stories that we tell ourselves that we couldn't do this, or that all performers have no money, or that it's too difficult, or that we're not as good as the next person, or whatever, that get in our way. None of those things are actual fact. You've got to think of this as being your business, because that's what this group is about. This is the Successful Showgirl. It is about becoming a professional performer that gets paid, yeah? It's not about doing performing as a hobby, and it is fine if that's what you do, but that's not what this group is for. So this group is about pushing you guys to be getting paid what you're worth, what you should be getting paid, to be getting an industry rate. So start thinking that you are a performer, because that is why you're in this group. You wouldn't have joined this group if you weren't planning on taking it to that next level. Also start thinking of yourself as being a business. This is a business. Your performing is a business. If you're thinking of it as a hobby that you get paid for occasionally, then you will get paid according to that. So if you're telling yourself that this is a hobby that you love to do and it's just a bonus if you get paid, then you're only going to get paid as a bonus. If you're telling yourself that this is your job, and whether you've got another job or not, I've got another job because I love my other job. I would never want to give it up. Even if I was performing every single day, I would still want to be teaching, because that is what I truly love. So that doesn't take away from the fact that you should be getting paid a decent rate for what you're doing. So if you're thinking of it with a business head, you're going to get paid like it's a business. But if you're not, you're not. So you need to kind of change your mindset and decide, where are you? Are you a hobbyist or are you a performer? My next thing about that really is, are you registered as self-employed? Now, we've had loads of debates in this group, people saying, well, I'm not earning over the threshold yet, blah, 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 blah. But my mindset belief behind this is, once you're self-employed as a performer, you can have another job as well, but once you've got it in writing and you've done it, is that not putting a line under it and saying, right, I'm doing this, like I am actually doing this because I've committed and I've said that I'm now a self-employed performer. So I know a lot of people were saying, yeah, but I'm not earning over £1,000 yet, blah, blah, blah. However, if that's your mindset, are you basically saying that you don't think you can earn more than £1,000 in 1 year as a performer? Because if you're in this group and you're wanting to do this properly, you should be thinking, well, I can make this my career. These other people have, I have, so there's no reason you can't. So if you're really thinking that and you're really wanting to do this, why don't you just go for it? If you're not putting yourself forward for that, are you subconsciously telling yourself that you don't think you can earn more than £1,000 in 1 year from your performing? That's for the UK. I don't know what it is everywhere else, but that's the debate that we've had a lot in this group. And I'm not telling you what's right or wrong. You can do whatever you want to do. But I just think sometimes if you really want to do something, you've got to put it in writing. You've got to put it out there. You've got to tell other people that you're doing it and make yourself accountable for it. Otherwise, you'll always be erring on the side of caution. And when you can't err on the side of caution anymore, you will make it work. So that's all I wanted to say before we get into the whole fee setting, because I think mindset around finances and money and knowing that you are a performer has more to do with getting good fees and good jobs than anything else. Weirdly, when I asked the question the other day of what did people need the most help with, applications and fees came top, but mindset came bottom. That was like one of the lowest things. And in fact, if you've not got a good mindset, business mindset or money mindset or success mindset going on, you're not going to get either of those things done well. So start thinking about changing your mindset to the fact that you are a performer, not a newbie performer, not an aspiring performer, but a performer that is going to earn money from this as a business. So let's get into the actual fee setting. So when you're setting your fees, there is no right or wrong, and this is what people struggle with. We all love to just get told, do this, but it doesn't work like that. We all live in different places. We all live in different countries. We all, even within the burlesque scene and the circus scene itself, we all have different levels that we need to be at and different needs and wants. So first thing you need to do really, oh thanks Sarah, everyone always says they love my hair, but it's because this is the only time I make an effort doing my hair in the week, so I'm always like, oh thanks. Anyway, let's get back to the money situation. So setting your fees really is about what you need. So this is why I'm asking you, where are you going with your performing? Are you doing it as like a hobby, or are you doing it for professional reasons? Because that is going to change how you set your fees, and that is also going to change how you push yourself and how you display yourself on social media and therefore in front of prospective clients. If you're only thinking that it's a hobby for you, then people are going to get that gist from you. Whether you realise that or not, people are going to think, oh, this person just does this for fun, so I'm not going to pay them the same amount that I'm going to pay somebody who does it all the time. That's just what people are going to think. So you need to start taking on board that identity of that this is your job, whether you've got another job or not. That's why that's important. So when you're setting your fees, you really need to know, one, what is everybody else charging for that kind of job? So you need to do a bit of market research. I'm not going to say in this country they charge this and in this country they charge this. That would take me forever to work that out. If you really want to do this, you need to get off your butt and start finding out what other people are charging. You've got a group here of 900 people that you can ask that question in, and not one person has ever asked that question. So maybe today somebody needs to ask the question, what do you charge for this? What do you charge for this? I live in such and such a place. What do you charge for this? I live here. If you don't ask, you're never going to know. And also for the people who are professional performers, I think we really need to move away from this idea of being so secretive about our fees. We cannot on one hand complain about people undercutting us and then on another hand not be open with what we charge, because how the hell are these people not meant to undercut us if they don't know what we're charging? Like, we have to be more honest about the industry rate and where we are all at and what we are all charging. If we don't do that, it's just no good for anybody. But there is a massive secrecy around what people charge, and I don't know whether that's just an our industry thing or whether that is a societal thing because it's to do with money. I don't know. But I really feel like we need to start having honest conversations about this. Otherwise, people can't market research where their place is within the industry. So I would say at some point this week, you need to do a little bit of market research, look on job posts and see what they're offering to pay for certain things. Ask in this group what people are charging. You know that I will always happily tell you what I charge for anything. I've openly said it on here. So if you want to ask the questions right now while I'm on live, I will happily give you the answers to how I charge or what I would pay for somebody else, okay? So you can ask me that at any point. You also need to think about yourself. You are not here to please other people. You are here to get paid, to get money, to live, but you also want to do a job that you love. So you need to think about what you need to earn for you to get enough money to live off or to have the kind of life you want. And that is only going to happen if you sit down and do a budget of how much you need, one, to cover any expenses, not just your direct expenses for a job, but I'm talking about your overall living expenses, your rent, your car, your phone bill, all those things. Then you've also got to take into account how much extra money you want to have at the end of a month. So if you want to have like expendable income where you can go out, where you can go on holiday, where you don't have to worry about money, then you need to add that into that amount of money as well, and then have a grand total of how much you want to earn every month. Now, you might already have another job, so you know that so much of that is covered by your other job, okay? Or you might not. You might be like me, where everything I do is self-employed, so I have to know how much I need each month to live so that I can work out what I'm aiming for. And I don't just want to be aiming for the bare minimum. I want to be aiming for like having some expendable income so that I can do other things, so that I can reinvest into my business, so that I can put some money away for my tax bill at the end of the year. There's lots of different things that you need to take into account. Once you know that figure, then you need to decide how many days do you want to work. If you've got a full-time job, 9 to 5 through the week, you're probably not going to be wanting to work Monday to Friday. You're probably thinking more about weekend gigs. So then you will have to work out how many weekend gigs you can do. If you've got kids, that might not be as easy, so you might only be able to do one gig every weekend. So in that case, that overall total of money that you need minus your other job needs to be divided by 4, because you'd only be able to fit in 1 gig a weekend, so that's 4 in a month, isn't it? And that will be your fee. So let's say, for example, I need to earn, I'm going to make it easy for myself maths-wise, 4 grand a month, okay? But I have another job, and that job gives me 2 grand a month. So I'm now working with 2,000 because I've took that off. I already know that I've got like 2,000 in the bank anyway. Then I think, oh right, so I only want to work 1 day every weekend because I've got other things going on. So then I'm going to take the number 4 and divide that 2,000 by 4. And that's going to give me 500. So that's how much I would need to charge for each gig. Now, if that is something that you're never going to get, then you need to rethink how you're going to go about it. You might think, right, well, I might have to work 2 days every weekend. or I might have to train in something specialist that I can charge 500 quid for. Because if I'm doing something like standard burlesque or whatever, the likelihood that you're going to get that amount of money is minimal. But if you've got some kind of specialist act, contortion or aerial or some kind of like fire show that's like its own thing, or martini glass act or whatever, then that is totally feasible. So this is why I can't just give you an exact fee. You've got to go away and do the work for yourself. And I know people find that hard because you do just want to be told, but it just doesn't work like that. You have to know what you want to get out of it and what you need to cover all your expenses. Otherwise, it's just an arbitrary figure. So your challenge today is in this group to ask how much people charge for said acts, the ones that you are going to be doing, so that you know and have an idea of what is going on in the industry. If you don't do the market research yourself, then you're just not going to know, because nobody is going to do it for you. There's so many different countries, there's so many different places, there's so many, even within burlesque, sometimes I will be charging 500 quid and sometimes I'll be charging 100 quid. There's just so many different levels, and you really need to sit down and work that out for yourself. But you've also got to know what's worth your while and what's not. So for me, I only want to work like 1 or 2 nights a week. I don't want to work every night, so I'm going to charge more. And if somebody's not willing to pay it, I'm not that bothered. Like, it doesn't matter to me. But I'm only going to do it if I'm going to get what I want to get. Other people have different priorities though, so please sit down and have a really, really good think about those different things. If you need some help, ask in the group. People will help you. That's what the group is for. And if you're really struggling, I've got a course for you. It's 25 quid and it literally walks you through every step. You get a workbook with it. You can work all the figures out for yourself, and that can help you along the way. But the best way to do it is just ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. So I hope that was helpful. I'm sorry I can't just give you a number, but that is just not how it works. Everybody's got different numbers that they work with, and you're going to be the same. But my biggest piece of advice is that you really need to consider yourselves as performers and not just somebody that's doing this as a hobby, if you want to get paid what you're worth. Because otherwise, if you don't see yourself like that, other people aren't going to see you like that. So you've got to portray that to other people so that they know your worth as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, but please post in the group, ask your questions, get going with it, because this is the thing that I think most people struggle with, because it's something that you do have to work out for yourself. And I do know that that is difficult, but you've got a group here of hundreds of people that you can just ask the question. And I'm sure out of all those people, somebody will go in there and answer it for you. I know I will answer whatever I can answer in that group. So if you direct your questions in there, I will answer anything you need to know. Jessica, challenge accepted. What did you charge for your first stage performance? I've done online shows, but want to step on to stage. Right, okay. So I'm guessing this is for burlesque. So for me, the first stage show that I did was a residency. So it was a regular booking that I did every week, and I used to get like 70 quid for that. As it was like a little mini cabaret show, but that was probably like 5 years ago now. I was doing like a couple of acts within that, and that was something that I did regularly. It wasn't a one-off, so you're always going to expect a lower fee for something that you do on a regular basis. If it's a one-off thing, I would be expecting more than that. But it really does depend, again, on how you've marketed yourself, especially on your social media. So if you've been putting out a really professional presence on your social media, then you're going to get better paid jobs. So I literally just walked into that job. I didn't even have to audition for it. It was the first job I'd ever done, the first paid job. I'd never done any performing jobs before. And I walked into that because I'd created a great social media presence. I'd made it look really, really, really professional, and they just gave me the job on the spot. So that is why I'm always banging on about how important it is, especially when we did that content creation challenge, how important it is to create a really good business page where you're showing your best work, because that changes somebody's mindset about you who is looking in. That reaches the people that you want to reach before you ever even send them that job application email. So that's why I find that so important. I think that is like step number one in everything: creating a persona, getting seen, and creating a relationship with these people that you are going to work for eventually, so that when you do send that application off, they're viewing you as that professional performer, as that person who they've seen doing work and they know is reliable, and they've seen other people saying great things about. Then you're more likely to get a better fee. So that's the only way I can answer that. Again, it's trial and error. You've just got, and you can always say to like somebody, I would just say, well, what do other people normally charge? If I really didn't have a clue, I would say, what do other people normally charge? And I'd go around that. But again, that leaves you open to people taking the piss, doesn't it? And saying, oh, well, people only charge 20 quid and only wanting to pay you 20 quid. So I think you really do have to have an idea from other people of what they're charging, so that you're not going to get ripped off, but you're also not going to be going in like massively high as well. So I'll leave that there today. Good luck with your little task this week. Find out, let's make a little directory of what people are charging in different places, so we all know where we're at, and then we can all have like honest conversations about fees, so we're not undercutting each other, and we are helping the industry, because every time we undercut somebody, we're basically undercutting future us. So when we become more successful, we don't want other people charging less and less and less, because eventually then there's going to be no industry left, is there? So I just want you to have a little think about that. And yeah, so good luck with that today, and I will see you tomorrow. Today I'm going to do, not today, this week I'm going to do a live every day on a different aspect of my course that I've got coming up, because I think there's lots of different things in there that we need to build up in order to be putting out that professional look. So tomorrow we'll talk about your socials. On Wednesday we'll talk about marketing. On Thursday we'll talk about applying for jobs. On Friday we'll talk about all the stuff that comes with it, like all the legal stuff, risk assessments and all that business. So I'll see you all through the week. Have a lovely week and get asking those questions. Bye bye.